administration, emperor came to Tokyo and lived in the center of Tokyo city. And after the World War II, the MacArthur came and we lost the war. The government is more like democratic, and emperor is just a symbol, like a British country. So this is the guy who founded the government for 200 years. And he asked the local families to come to Edo every 2 years along this queue. So the distant families have to use a bunch of money. So the time passes, these come more poor and poorer, and closer family could save the asset. Finally, these guys resisted to the central government. But the merit was the many good roads were developed all the countries, and all the culture comes here, Edo, and also to the locals. And this is the larger impact to the Edo city, physical impact. The first built castle was the Otodoka, a very small castle, and Tokugawa came and started to make a city. Then big fire. The houses were all wooden, and so the fire was very, very dangerous for the city. And major restoration, and we have a very heavy earthquake at the center of Tokyo. Then air raid is a bombing by the World War II from USA. So many times the city was burned down. Olympic Games we had once, 1964, and this was the kind of symbol of the revitalization of the country. Then we will have another one soon. But very recently we had a very heavy earthquake in the north part of the Tokyo, and also the nuclear power crisis, radius issues. So this is the old Edo, the wet and marsh. Then castle was made. So this is in the moat. The major samurai family lives inside the moat. And outside is developed as a commercial district. The model was the Amsterdam in Netherlands. And again, the new outer moat came, so it's a kind of spiral the river to protect from the enemies or attacks. So this is the progress of the Edo city. So this is old paintings. So inside is family, and these are the commercial areas. So big difference of the super block and the more tiny deal. And this is also a good diagram to make a spiral. And here's the checking point as a gate. So these are the major streets to the all over the countries. And this is the image of the Edo Castle, just once built and never built again. So now, almost this painting is the last one, and nobody remembers. And this is the famous the Nihonbashi Bridge, and this is the mecca of the commercial activity. And these are fish markets, and they can everywhere. They could see the Mount Fuji. Now tall buildings, heights. And this is the fire extinguishers task forces. So before the Meirei fire, these are the major samurai residences. But after the Meirei fire, they had to go outside. So the local family have to give or make the wife and children live in Tokyo, Edo. So these are the residents for the local families. The wives and children live these areas. Now it turns out to be green kind of University of Tokyo or some parks. So the old residences changed into parks. So now we'll have a set of green infrastructure because of that. And you can see it is very dense wooden houses. So once there's a fire, the one block will at once burn down like this. And major restoration, the new government wants to make a more efficient city. So the imperial palace is here, but outside are many major streets and new urban planning. Yeah, it's just a planning, so actually the budget was not so enough. Some are done and some are not. And this is a very famous Ginza street. So it used to be the super block like this, but it was turned to be just the streets, like a modern plant. So look at these. The one side of the Ginza street is a Greek revival department store. The other side is a French shop house. So we imported many styles from Europe. And near the Tokyo station, we imported the British style. So it's a kind of exhibition of the many European styles. But finally, we didn't like these small windows and brick because we have a humidity and wet, so it's not comfortable for us. This is the Showa period. The height was limited up to 31 meters because of the earthquake. So it looks like Paris. The height is all limited, rather homogeneous. So this is the old map. You can see that all these greens was the samurai residences. Now temples or parks. But the eastern part is a very low area. This is highland and this is lowland. Before the earthquake, there was a shop, the fish market and the department store, Mitsukoshi department store. But 1923, in the lunchtime, the earthquake happened. So most of all the buildings were burned down, and this east area was all burned down. The earthquake happened in lunchtime, so the women were cooking. So the whole 3 days, all fire, and the wooden houses all burned down. So after the earthquake, the governor of Tokyo Metropolitan Government, Shinpei Goto, made a bigger plan to make a more efficient street, and he referred to the French boulevard like this. We cannot identify this is Japan. It looks like France. So it's because we didn't like the fire comes from there. So wider street cuts the fire. And this is the very first concrete apartment in Tokyo. And 1942 to 45, the airplane came from the US and bombed very intentionally the point. And again, the eastern part was burned down. And only the elementary school were saved because after the big earthquake, we thought that the elementary school should be very rigid and for the refugees or evacuation. But others are almost burned down again. So this is the Tokyo station. Even in the center, some complete buildings safe but not. So this is the damage from the bomb. So near the Haneda airport, there was many factories but some part still survive, like Ueno or Hongo. So these means the some part is really Edo-like old Tokyo, and some are the like a German city, they're very new. And after the war, the government wanted to make a green belt plan to cut the fire again, but lack of budget, only some part is done. And my boss Kendo Tange proposed offshore the city in 1960s. The city was really expanded to the sprawling, so he proposed more offshore or reclamation of the land extension. And this is the image of the well done market, the model, and very linear, like a spine model. But actually, now the land is reclaimed up to something like that. So image really followed his idea. Now Olympic Games, the Tange did this gymnasium, a very wonderful masterpiece. Now we made a petition to World Heritage. And this is a pity thing that this is Nihonma's Bridge, the kind of heritage. The freeway, highway comes over there. No one resisted because of this is a national project, Olympics. And bubble economy, the west part of the Shinjuku is now coming like this. So quickly I show the some parts of the, we define Tokyo as a kind of salami pizza city. Pepperoni or tomato, or it's a, the chopped neighborhoods are scattered around. So Asakusa, this is a famous Senso temple, and Kengokuma's strange building, and 600-meter tall the digital broadcasting tower. Ueno is an old part, but this is the kind of a masterpiece by Taniguchi. So very refined, like a Japanese style, but using the modern materials. And feeling is very clean. And Kobu's the museum, World Heritage. And this is amazing that underground we put the gum, rubber to entire earthquake. Even earthquake, it can be safe. And Ginza, famous shopping mall street, and this is famous Kishio Kurokawa's metabolic, the capsule tower, still survives. And Tokyo Forum, Raphael Vignoli. There used to be a city hall in Tokyo, and city hall moved to Shinjuku. So this is a very gigantic structure, but very beautiful. And Mejiro, there's a Tange's Cathedral. This is also very beautiful. 4 shell makes a cross plan. He won the competition. Still very healthy building. And Shinjuku is the most congested station. 1,300,000 people are using it a day. So it's the most busiest station in the world. Western part is here like that. So it's a really juxtaposition of the new, like a Corbusier, Villa Radius type city or old samurai residence or congested area. So sometimes are very naughty at night. Shibuya it's also a famous area with the highway and many traffic comes. And this is really a three-dimensional city. This is a very famous zebra crossing. And this is now current Shibuya, many traffic comes. So now the Tokyo Corporation is developing these towers. Crazy. We don't know how to walk on the ground. And Omotesando is very famous with the very good masterpieces along the streets. Taro Ando's shopping mall, or the Toyo-Ito or Sana or Ando's museum, and Herzog de Malone's Plaza. So this is one of the best one in Tokyo. And Kengokuma's museum. After the Meiji period, we made many legal structure, city planning on building codes and urban redevelopment. And after these disasters, we made a new ordinance, a new law. So the earthquake and new planning, the disaster and new planning. So used to be a very thin code book, but now very, very thick. It's hard to read and understand. And this is the basic, the zoning. Along the White Street, this is a commercial street, and behind that, the more residential area. It's also to cut the fire, the same, They can build a tall building along the White Street. And this is the FAR from the residential area is very protected, but the commercial area is very high. So this is a kind of hierarchy, gradation of the FAR. And this is the FAR and the footprint ratio. And also we have the diagonal line streets. So it depends on the zoning, the angles are different, but we need to keep this opening for the environmental use. And if the one building setbacks, they can calculate the width of the street like this, so they can build a bit higher like that. So it means that the more setting back, the more higher. So that's why it's not straight. The wall lines differentiate. And this is a typical diagonal lines influence. And also more difficult at the corner. So this diagonal line comes, and this is the more like this. Or in the fourth crossing, it's very hard to breathe. Very stupid code. So if you go to Tokyo, many places are very odd shape because of that very stupid code. So architects work is how to get the maximum volume for the client. And north we have also the line or neighborhood also. And this is a more complicated one. We need to assure the at least 4 hour sunshine in the north neighbor, even in the winter time. So we need to calculate how long this building casts the shadow to the neighbor. So this is the old drawings. They calculate from 8 to 5, and here's a shadow line. We need to keep this shadow line inside the area. So that's why we need to cut some part to make it shorter shadows. So very strange shaped buildings. Yeah, it's typical. area is more homogeneous. Mostly the 10-meter, the height limit. So all the houses are very low, like this. And the most of the Tokyo is more like a residential area, very low. Everybody thinks that Tokyo is like a Hong Kong, it's very limited. And this is also a very strange regulation. If the streets are narrower than 4 meters, the new building have to set back to make a 2 meter from the center line. So in that sense, the tide passes these building setbacks and they'll make a more wider street. But actually, they don't like to do that. So if they set back, the land is very little, they won't do that. This means that these buildings cannot be rebuilt without the Japanese regulation means the land have to face to the front street. If not, they cannot build like this. So this is the mostly the commercial zoning. They can build a very high FAR, but inside the very few roads. Sometimes this guy cannot face the front street. The real estate zero, value is zero. So really, the gap of the surrounding periphery land and the inside is quite different. So along the wide street, there are many good buildings, but inside, sometimes still we have houses or temples or housings. So this is the typical block structure in Tokyo. The periphery is very like wall, inside like a village. And this is the very, very well. We imported from New York or US, providing for the public open space, we could get the bonus. So this is like a Scotland views redevelopment. The famous Rawalpindi Hills used to be just land, and they provide a park and make a tower. This is also KPF and New York. The land was like that. And this is the simulation my laboratory did 15 years ago, how the Tokyo will change to make towers. And we calculated more than 5,000 square meter wide land can make a tower. So this is a kind of random scenario. Or this is on the ridge. Or this is waterfront. Or center and the ridge. And center or the waterfront. And now, okay. Can you guess what is the final, recent trends? Recent trend is the waterfront and center. Because the residential area didn't like the towers, the casting shadows.
These simulations were done by your graduate school?
My laboratory, graduate school, yes, my laboratory. So these are the in front of the Tokyo Station, now towers, waterfront towers. And incremental development is very recommended. So Maki Tomiko did a very gentle redevelopment like this. So very famous Takayama Hills. And very carefully did the details. Okay, finally Tokyo Olympics. As you saw the Tange's idea, we made these lands. And so we have two zones of the legacy area and the Tokyo Bay zone. And we will use the existing facility and also the new facilities. And this is the mapping of the new facilities. And in the center of Tokyo, we have the kind of sports, the park, like a small play park or the baseball game. And this is like this is Shinjuku Gyoen Park, and this is the old the stadium. And Maki did the new gymnasium. So the height limit was 30 meters. So Maki followed that, and the Tokyo Metropolitan Government asked him to make a gymnasium and swimming pool and playground. And this is the one footprint of a new project. A bit huge scale. After the competition, Zaha proposed this stadium. Nando was the chairman, the whole, head of the jury, and he chose Zaha. And Maki-san was very angry because the height is very high, like 70 meters high, and it comes over the highway, huge. Backside. And it's the movable, the clothes can be closed or open for the event. 80,000 people can use that. This is the competition drawing. And this is the very beautiful, the boulevard, huge scale. Then Maki-san, not resisted, but the program itself is too big, and the cost will be very high. So he claimed. And also they calculate again the bunch of money. I cannot calculate in dollars, but so what happens? The Zaha shrunk the small model like this. And Nikken Sekkei is a co-architect in Tokyo, and they cut the nose, and finally very odd shaped like a cycling helmet. Maybe Zaha didn't like it. Then Abe Prime Minister cancelled this project to zero. Then they called for a design build competition. So contractors and architects can make a team to assure the budget and the period. And I don't know, they called internationally, and Zaha wanted to find the partner, contractor. No contractor accepted. So for Zaha, rejected. Only, this is the, okay. Only Kuma and Toyohiko could find the partner. So when the Prime Minister cancelled, already the demolition was started. We were very shocked. If we could, use that, we could save the money. Now, like that. So this is the Kuma's the proposal, and this is Toyohito's proposal. The Kuma or with the team with the Taisei company, Taisei already calculated everything, so they could propose a cheaper labor, but the Takenaka couldn't do that. So finally, I don't know the big difference, but finally this one. So this is the look like timber, but there's a T-bar of steel and covered with the wood, the real wood. So it doesn't look like Olympic Games stadium. Why? They forgot to put the Olympic torch stand because it's a wooden structure. They cannot put the Olympic torch inside. So I don't know. We don't know still yet. Somewhere outside or drone.
In the form of tower.
The other facilities are terrible. Yeah, I don't know who did these. So this was not open competition, very limited competition. So finally, my small works quickly, like this, in the dormitory of the university, a park facility, and a school for handicapped students, toilet and bicycle parking in front of the station, and a housing project in Shanghai. This is our graduate program in English, international program, and for the semesters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, could you please come stay on the stage so
Okay.
that Sir Professor would like to present you with a pin and the heritage workbook.
I have a comment for you. Sorry, after you go. I have a comment for you. What you talked about was very interesting. We were at Piazza Navona like about a week ago,